Hey everyone, today we have a Tryndamere versus Graves battle at Baron Lane. This is going to be short and sweet. It lasted like 9 minutes. And this is also going to be out of order. This is my 33rd mark in Grandmaster as opposed to my 21st. And that's simply because I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing and recording games when I can, and some games are just a stomp. And I know they don't really provide a lot of educational value, so I don't save those. Other times I'm losing, or the fight is just so long that I can't imagine making that into a video, so I'm trying to find the good ones to give you guys good content, right? If that makes sense. And you'll notice that my first item I'm choosing is going to be Bloodthirster versus Blade of the Ruined King. And that's simply because Graves has a lot of ways to get away from me, and Blade of the Ruined King's slow doesn't impact dashes, nor does it impact slows done on me. So his smoke screen that he has will slow me, and his dash just, moves him away from me. So I can't catch up to him. I'd rather have the sustainability, and the way to just kind of out melee him is with Bloodthirster versus Blade of the Ruined King. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen Baron Lane Graves. He is a menace. He does a lot of damage really fast, and you have no idea where it's coming from, so you gotta be ready for that. However, it's not all bad news. Graves is a ranged top, and with all ranged champions, there is a tiny bit of lack of damage in the first few levels. So I'm going to take advantage of that as much as possible. Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3, I'm going to try to all-in him and kill him really early and force him to get behind. Once he falls behind, it's really hard for him to catch back up. So his first mistake was, disappearing in the lane when the minions crashed. The second mistake is him using an early ignite. That means he has no kill pressure if he does try to apply it. I'm thankful for whoever designed Pull Party Graves, because End of the Line's animation is so much easier to see as opposed to the original one. Here is my first 2v1. Holy smokes, I'm going for Graves. Ignite, exhaust, let him burn his flash. And here comes Morgana. I wish I had upgraded my second ability here. I would have killed her for sure. But she burned flash. So that's super duper nice for us. And now Graves is behind. He has no summoners. Morgana just used a honey fruit, which is really bad on her, because that means Graves, if he needs it later on, he's not going to have it. I did forget about Morgana's passive healing when it comes to that little pool thing, which is why I was surprised that she stayed alive. However, you can see Lee Sin is going straight for her. I see Graves is full HP, so I'm going to go out and help Lee Sin, trying to get Graves away from there. We successfully managed to do that, so that is a 2-for-0 trade. Now, after I help him with Scuttle, the smart thing to do would be to recall and buy myself my items, but again, I don't do that. I like to overstay my welcome. This one is for a good reason, though. Graves wasn't able to purchase any items, so technically there's no item difference here. He has a longsword, I have a longsword. The difference is that I have a level advantage on him, so I will apply that against him. And I'm going to replay this because this is an important portion of this game where you freeze the wave. So I'm not letting the minions crash into the turret just yet. I'm waiting for them to get closer to my blue minions, so the ranged minions will stay their distance and not crash into the turret. This is going to allow my minions to take extra damage, so by the time their counterpart red minions come along, they're gonna have a harder time keeping up. So that means the wave is gonna naturally push towards me. If Graves wants to farm, that means he has to get closer to me, so that means I can run him down and chase him all the way down the lane to kill him. And you'll see that that's where the minions are coming back, and we're gonna come back to full speed now. And this is a really good example as to why you should be recalling when you have a lead. I have a 2-level lead on Graves, but what don't I have? Items. So my damage is still negligible compared to his. I should be recalling at this point, buying myself my items, and do more damage. At this point, the wave is pushing slowly towards him, so he's going to have to push it back. And I'll be back by lane by the time that happens, and I'll have 2 items to catch him out at. He is thankfully using a lot of mana for really no reason, so that's good on us. He still doesn't have a honey fruit, and I'm going to try to see if I can apply kill pressure on him. I have exhaust up, I have ignite up, and I have my ultimate, which he still doesn't have, at least not yet. And he's been gone a bit longer than I'd like. So what I'm going to try to do here is actively push out this wave to crash into his turret, so I can maybe take a plate by the time he gets back. Maybe he recalled back to his lane or his base. And that's why I'm actively hitting these minions to actively push this out. And look what this guy had. He has full HP and full mana. I hit him once or twice, and he uses ignite on me, which is fantastic on me. Now he no longer has ignite again. But what do we know? He has item advantage over me. He has a Kindle Gem, sure. That's still an item advantage that I don't have. I'm sitting on close to 2,800 gold, and I'm not doing anything to him. He now has level 5. We're pretty much almost the same level at this point. He's hit level 6. So the lead that I, quote unquote had is gone. I can buy myself my Bloodthirster cash if I want to, which is not a good thing. If you learn one thing from my videos is that I have a bad habit of overstaying my welcome, and I hope you guys can learn from that mistake. At this point, I should still be recalling. And I'm still looking for his overextend so I can, at least hit him a few times and force him to back while I back. And you'll see here that I changed my Bloodthirster to Blade of the Ruined King in a little bit, and that's simply because I don't know how else to say this, but this Graves isn't applying a lot of pressure. We'll leave it at that. So I know that I can chase him down with Blade of the Ruined King as opposed to someone else. And you can see Lee Sin is coming towards Baron Lane. So I know if I'm withering him down, you can see Lee Sin right there just completely chunked his health. You'll see something that you should be aware of. I'm going to tank this turret shot so Lee Sin can dive and engage on Graves without taking any damage. Right here, see, so he kicks him and I am taking the shot for him. Graves ran away from his turret, which is, good for us, and we are taking 2 plates. In 15 seconds, Dragon spawns, and I have 4,000 gold. At this point, I am finally recalling, buying myself my Blade of the Ruined King, and going straight to Dragon. Why am I going to Dragon? Well, I have a big ol' lead on Graves. I can literally do nothing different in Baron Lane, and the game stays the same. Yeah, I have 2,000 gold more than him, but me staying in Baron Lane isn't going to do anything for the team. Me applying pressure elsewhere, like going to Dragon, is going to help out my team. It's going to help out Baron Lane, Dragon Lane, and middle lane, and my jungler. This is a buff that provides value for everyone. And this is the #1 tip that I can give to people who always say, I'm 17-0 in lane, and I'm not winning the games. What the heck is going on? Are you staying in that lane? If you're 17-0, and your opponent in lane is 0-17, but everywhere else you guys are losing, that game is lost. Really, at the end of the day, I'm going to repeat my mantra, KDA doesn't win games. Taking the Nexus wins games. And how do you take the Nexus? By taking turrets. Yeah, they took Rift Herald, and I should have probably gone mid there, but we got Dragon, which is a permanent buff. They're using Rift Herald here to try to catch up on gold that they have a deficit on anyway. So what exactly does an overstepping his boundaries look like for Graves? Well, here is a perfect example, and I'm going to slow this down so you can see just how tiny of a mistake I took advantage of. Right here. He is now past the halfway point, so I'm walking towards his boundary. I'm going to dash where he dashes into, exhaust him, slow him, Blade of the Ruined King, ignite him. I overdid the kill, obviously, but I'm going to secure it for sure. And there he goes, he dies. That tiny little mistake of him overstepping his boundary by maybe 2 steps led to a death. And that's something that's really, really tiny microscopic. That's called a micro advantage, I guess you would want to call it. But the fact that Graves is so far behind now, he's going to struggle to catch up. I'm going to try to take this turret before Graves sits back. He has 7 seconds on his death timer. My minions died, unfortunately. I took a turret shot, but I took the honey fruit. And I'm going to farm and keep pushing this really hard. Now, in hindsight, I should have used my first ability to heal up because I'm going to die taking this turret, and you'll see why. And I give props to Morgana and Graves for taking me out. So nicely done from them. I take this turret. Graves comes in, he smoke screens, and I walk into his smoke screen, willingly. And Morgana, out of nowhere, catches me out with her snare. I'm trying to see if I can get to Graves, but I can't. She flashes, she ignites me, I use my Q a little too late, and I die. But if I used my Q earlier and healed up before that engage happened, that fight could have turned out differently. Other thing I could have done is recalled and bought myself my static shiv, and gone back to the lane with an even bigger lane advantage. But I don't do that, and that's, again, is another example of my bad habit. And I know I didn't speak about it, but I'll speak about it now. The next item I'm buying is Merc Treads with QSS, or Quicksilver Enchantment, which removes CC, simply because twice now, Morgana has completely locked me down, and I can't do anything, and that really sucks. So QSS is my best friend here. I see the fight going on in Dragon Lane, and yes, everyone wants to go help out the fight and maybe fluff up their KDA, but what else do you see? A free Baron Lane to push out. So I'm going to push out this Baron Lane at least 2 or 3 waves to crash into their turret to see if the enemy team is going to respond to that. I'm causing a sort of demand for a response here. Hey, do you guys want to keep fighting in Dragon Lane, or do you guys want to stop me from pushing Baron Lane? Once I take the 2 Baron Lanes and I see people recalling, I retreat from Baron Lane and go to middle lane, which is also easily to take down. This wave is closer to blue side, so it's a lot safer to go for. And I'm going to see if I can take this turret. And me applying this pressure also means that the enemy team has to decide who they want to stop. Do they want to stop Lucian from taking dragon side, or they want to stop me from taking middle side? 3 people went to middle lane, so that means there's only 2 people that are left, which is Lux and Draven at the very top side, which means that everyone is accounted for. I'm going to try to see if I can catch out Dragon Lane, but unfortunately Katarina caught me out. And here are some really fast decisions. I saw Katarina on the right side here, and Morgana wasted her spell shield, which means that nobody can defend Katarina. So I focus on Katarina. This is then a chance to force Morgana and Katarina to focus on me. This allows Nami, Lucian, and Twisted Fate to get into the fight a little better. Also, the fact that Morgana wasted her spell shield for nothing means that Nami, using her ultimate here, will actually knock up Morgana. I'm trying to see if I can find a way to get around them or force them closer to me, which didn't work out. And right here I'm going to go around the dragon pit to see if someone's going to flash out. And you'll see me walking back and forth to see what's going on. And nobody's flashing out the wall. So at this point, I'm just going to go back into the fight. I exhausted Morgana here to chase her out. And the reason I chose Morgana specifically is because of her ultimate, which she can lock us all down and screw us all over. Lux does have a form of CC, but it can only stun 2 people. Katarina has no stun or no CC. Graves has no CC aside from his smoke screen. And Draven has no CC aside from his, pushback. So Morgana here is so essential for a victory, because at this point, nobody here can kind of stop us from approaching the enemy team aside from Lux. And Lux, again, can only stun 2 people, and there's 5 of us. So if he stops 2, there's still 3 of us chasing them. And that was as perfect as you can consider a team fight to go. Here I'm going to try to see if I can tank for my team to take out Lux. Unfortunately, Nami is overstepping her boundaries here, and she takes a turret shot, or she takes 2 actually, and she dies. But thankfully, she actually got executed instead of dying, so she gave gold to nobody. Once I recall, you see that the enemy team surrenders, so I'm going to do my celebration by burning all of my abilities. So my ultimate, my third, my first, and my second, and my QSS are all going to be burned. And that's just how you celebrate, hooray, we did it. Good game, everyone. And I hope you, people watching, learned something from this, at least a little bit. And if not, I hope it was entertaining. As of today, we're at 37 marks, close to Challenger. It's 65 as of today. We may or may not get there, but either way, it was fun. And until next time, thank you all for watching, and you have a wonderful day, and I hope your climb is much better than it was last season. Talk to you soon.